Morning everybody in YouTube modeling community. Big Steve out here, Lakeside Scaleworks, with an update on the Tim Halsey Ford truck build. Today we're going to be doing a little lacquer lessons. Yeah. Haven't had a lot of time on this build. Work gets real inconsistent, you know, especially when you own your own business and doing the kind of work I do. You have a tendency to become the world's bitch at the drop of a dime. So, having said that, yeah, I've had little to no bench time at all. But what I do have out here, I've got, and I'll show you. But we had some really bad issues with lacquer. And the cherry pearl that we were working with, it came out. But it is more like, instead of dark cherry pearl, it looks more like dark plum crazy purple. That is not conducive to what I was trying to build. I wanted to put out something nice for you guys, as well as having something nice for my shelf. It is not happening. So, Mr. Halsey, I will not be making that 30-day deadline. I'll show you why here. Where do I want to start? Do I want to start with the purple? Yeah, my beautiful wife's got the camera, and there's the bench pad, but that's all right. All right, I'm gonna take this from her, and oh, don't even bother, it's a mess. But I'll spin it around and show you what happened and why. And so we're gonna be going back getting some new colors to make it a proper cherry. It's supposed to be a pearl white and cherry body. I was kind of sandbagging the video. I wasn't going to discuss the pearl white, and as it turns out, the cherry is grape. So, let me grab this camera from her and I'll turn it around here. Yeah, get my fat hand out the way and show you guys what I got going on here. Bear with me. All right, so we've got nothing more than the chassis mocked up. I put a little bit of time into that. Literally just mocked up. Let me see if I can get this shot down here. Clear it up a little bit. All right. Like I said before, guys, lighting really sucks, but you can see I've got the motor in, I've got it plumbed, carburetor's plumbed, I've got some linkage on the other side for the carburetors as well. I haven't done any detail to the motor at all, fabricated a distributor cap. Actually, I have a vacuum line on the distributor, vacuum advance there, it kind of just goes back to the manifold. It is so tight inside there, I have no room for the fan, so the fan is going on the front of the radiator. When done, with a little shroud there, I'll detail that out. But you can see here by the color of the carpet there, I was looking for something to go like that. And instead we have that. Tell me guys, does that look cherry anything to you? I mean, that doesn't look like dark plum crazy purple. That's exactly what it is, guys. And I am not happy with that. And not to mention what it did to the clear coat, lacquer clear coat. Guys, when you're doing your lacquers, first of all, unless you're really into working with them, I would suggest staying away from them. And if you do like to use them, as I do, you need to test them. 3 words, guys. Test, test, test. There is nothing worse than laying on something and not testing it. I ended up with the purple on here. I was going to deal with that. Some of the shots, it looks pretty good. And I tested the white before I shot it. It came out fine. I got in a hurry yesterday. I've just barely gotten paint on this thing in the last couple of days. And yesterday I got in a hurry and I grabbed an old can of lacquer. And I've done a lot of one-to-one lacquer work too. And it's the same thing. You cannot use old crap. And I did not test it before I laid it out and turned everything snow white. So my cherry is no longer cherry. My purple is no longer purple. I did find the color I wanted to use. I'm going to go ahead and go with Duplicolor, but I'm going to have to wait a few days, let this all settle. Lacquers in this kind of weather is very, very tricky to work with. And any of you guys that deal with cold, yeah, like I'm preaching to the choir here. You guys deal with cold, you know what I'm saying. Lacquer is not your friend. It's very manipulative. It's very tricky to work with at times, especially if you're having to mix your bases, which thankfully when it comes out of a can you don't have to, but I did not test it and that's what I ended up with. So you can either take your time, got some pieces here, and you can take your time and get your lacquer, test it all, make sure it's going to lay out nice and pretty, and it'll give you nice, beautiful, shiny stuff like that with very little problems. Or you can, of course, I had to throw out bales out there, two-tone, no decals, all work. But yeah, you can either have beautiful lacquer pieces that look like this, or you can not test it and end up with that. Wah, wah, wah. But anyways, guys, this is Big Steve at the bench here. Let me give you a little bit more here. The one thing I really have done to this thing, laid the carpet in, I channeled the crap out of the frame here. I was not happy the way the wheels were hanging out of the wheel fender wells, and I wanted them tucked up underneath. So I basically did some quick tricks. I cut everything off from here back. And these here are the rails that initially were here. And I just cut those off, moved them in, created channeling here so they could have something to mount to and be narrow. Just quick, cheap, easy, quick fixes, not even suspension, nothing there. I haven't got the drive line. The drive line was one piece to the differential, and I tried to cut it off and save most of it. It was too short. So I've lengthened it. It will go on to the back of the training when I'm done with it. And there again, I got more camber in the damn wheels. Are just being mocked up. They're not even locked down. So that's where we're at on that, guys. And anyways, just not enough time. And on a 30-day build, guys, the lesson here is do not experiment. Go with what you know. Test, test, test. That's all I can say. Test, test, and test some more. That way you don't end up with that and that. All right, guys, until the next update, it's Big Steve out here at Scaleworks. I'm hoping everybody's weekend is good. Stay warm, guys, out there in the East Coast and Midwest. I know you guys are really still going through it. And we actually have a lot of beautiful sunshine today, and it's only about 40 degrees out there, so not far behind most of the guys, but I know some of you guys are down below in the zeros, and that's just utterly ridiculous, and I feel for you. But all right, you guys, stay warm, keep building, and hopefully with love, motivation, we'll have something that looks as pretty as those. Without the glare of the camera light, of course, but there you are. All right, guys, peace. Big Steve out.